Good morning. It is Thursday, January 9th. Here's what we're working on. At least 5 people have now been killed as fast-moving wildfires continue to burn across LA County.
The world will say goodbye to former U.S. President Jimmy Carter as he will be laid to rest today.
And the Raptors continue their losing streak on the road. Morning. I noticed Brian warming up his hands there. It's another chilly day.
Yeah, looking in the closet last night, I'm like, yeah, another kind of sweater kind of day. So
I think so.
Put that one back on.
Yeah, layers once again. And start with a base layer. Is that what we learned yesterday?
I got my long johns on.
Okay, long johns. If that's what
I call it a base layer.
Okay, you call it a base layer. Okay, well, how about you could call them long Janes?
I could.
No, maybe not. No, we won't even go there. Yeah, base layer is a good idea today because it is so cold this morning. Minus 14 is our temperature, and then you factor in the winds. Minus 19 is the wind chill at the moment. So we're going to have sunshine today. Lovely sunshine. Blue skies looking great, but temperature today will climb to minus 6, wind chill about minus 10. So a little bit better than we got to yesterday, but the winds thankfully won't be quite as strong for the day today, and we are expecting some snow for later in the day tomorrow, and we'll talk about that coming up. Looking at traffic, quick check, nothing going on as usual this time of the morning. 403 Waterdown Road, that's our camera, doing okay. MTO traffic cameras, pull in my controller here. QEW Millen Road looks good, nothing going on. Top of the Skyway Bridge all the way through Brodie, doing fine so far today. So again, take it carefully. We'll look at weather and traffic again in a few minutes in detail, though, for you. Right now, the news.
Okay, and our top story again this morning is the out-of-control wildfires in Los Angeles. There are now 6 of them, and they continue to burn this morning, destroying thousands of homes and structures. Simone Gavros is watching the latest this morning for us, and they've turned deadly.
Yeah, and we know that at least 5 people have been killed by the fires, and that number is expected to rise. Another fire broke out in the hills above Hollywood Boulevard yesterday due to the dry and windy conditions that have moved these wildfires over the past couple days. LA Mayor Karen Bass provided the latest update to residents last night.
As we head into tonight, we are still facing strong and erratic winds. In Palisades and in Sylmar, we are very much in an active firefight. I can report to you that the Woodley fire, however, in the Sepulveda Basin is under control. I can also report that finally air operations have resumed, and that is a big deal, but it is up to the winds as to how long the air support can continue.
There are now 6 fast-moving wildfires raging, the latest one being the Sunset Fire. And crews first started battling the Palisades Fire, then the Eaton Fire and Hearst Fire, and they've only continued to spread, many near popular tourist attractions and celebrity homes. Around 130,000 people are under evacuation orders, and LA Mayor Karen Bass urges people to continue to leave immediately if they're asked to do so. The 5 people that died were from the Eaton Fire near Altadena. The destruction so far has just been devastating. The Palisades Fire alone has become one of the most destructive in modern LA history. This is footage of Sunset Boulevard yesterday, and you can see the charred trees, burnt homes, and that thick, lingering smoke in the air. Nearly 2,000 structures have been destroyed, and that number is only expected to rise. Those that have been able to leave react to what the scenes that they're seeing.
But something this big and this fast that, kind of just wiped out the whole town was something that I personally, and I think a lot of people from around here, never saw coming.
I saw a big ball of orange with the smoke, so it looked like it was here towards the top of the hill. And I went back to the house and got some things.
We couldn't breathe anymore. Yeah. And we had all the filters going in the house. We had HEPA filters, and nothing seemed to work.
Now, some Canadian crews have also stepped in to help in Southern California, including 3 helicopters, each with a 3,000-gallon water tank to help with those fast-moving flames. Tim, back over to you.
All right, thanks, Simone. There's been a data breach involving software used to store student information At school boards across the country, Power School, it's based out of the U.S., had a data breach between December 22nd and the 28th. Now, the U.S.-based provider of cloud software says it's taken all appropriate steps to prevent further unauthorized access or misuse of the affected data. Toronto, Peel, and Durham boards, they have issued notices about this incident. Boards in Halton and Hamilton also, they use the software. Power School says the incident is contained and does not anticipate the data will be shared or made public.
A man stabbed at a Hamilton homeless shelter last week has now died. 47-year-old Vinny Tirabassi was found in his dorm room at the Good Shepherd Center on Mary Street in Hamilton last week. He had been stabbed in the chest. His roommate at the shelter, 53-year-old Friedman Renderos, was arrested the night of the stabbing. He has now been charged with second-degree murder.
Two St. Catharines and a pedestrian has been taken to hospital following a hit and run there. Happened just before 6:30 last night on Church Street between Calvin and Queenston Street in St. Catharines. The extent of the pedestrian's injuries is not known at this time. The driver did not remain at the scene. Police did not provide a vehicle description. If you have information, you're asked to reach out to police.
An 18-year-old has now been charged with dangerous driving after a crash on Highway 401 that involved Premier Doug Ford.
We were leaving OPG, driving down the road on the highway, and next thing you know, out of nowhere, the car got sideswiped, and that's all I can say. I'd have to refer this over to the OPP, but we were just driving straight. Next thing you know, you got hammered, just hammered. You're okay. You're feeling okay? I'm okay. This head's like limestone. It's hard as a rock.
So that crash happened in the westbound lanes of the 401 in Pickering as the Premier was returning to Toronto from an announcement at the Darlington Nuclear Generating Station in Bowmanville. He was not hurt. Two people in the other vehicle suffered minor injuries. Now to more about that announcement. Ford is pitching an ambitious plan to supply the United States with energy. He calls on the federal government, American lawmakers, and industry experts to create a new working group, and for the federal government to approve the building of 4 small modular and large nuclear reactors to expand the power grid. It's not clear if any deals are in the works or if U.S. President-elect Donald Trump would agree, given the recent threats he has made about merging Canada and the U.S.
Fortress AMCAN is an ambitious plan. It won't be easy and it won't happen overnight. But we owe it to workers in Ontario, across Canada, and the U.S. to act now. Many of these initiatives will require the federal government to step up to ensure that energy, trade, and security policies serve the best interests of Canadians and Americans alike.
Ford also met virtually with other premiers yesterday. They're getting ready for an in-person meeting set with the Prime Minister next week. They're asking for weekly updates on negotiations with U.S. lawmakers. The premiers are also planning a trip to Washington February 12th to try to talk U.S. lawmakers out of Trump's proposed tariff plan. Now, Liberal MPs have met in Ottawa for the first time since Justin Trudeau announced he would step down as party leader and Prime Minister once his successor is chosen. And several stopped to speak with reporters about whether they will run.
I've been reflecting. And in the context of my reflection, of course, I very much know that I'm the Minister of Foreign Affairs at a time where it's extremely difficult with the American administration, the incoming one. And so that's why I'll continue my reflection.
Last night and then after sleeping on it this morning, I decided that the most important thing I should do over the next few months is my job as Minister of Finance and Intergovernmental Affairs.
I am considering running and considering putting my name forward and evaluating what kind of support that may exist for my candidacy.
And MP Jonathan Wilkinson from North Vancouver also says he is considering running for the Liberal leadership.
I want to get back to the LA wildfires for a second because it is affecting the sports world as we get into Sportsline. In the NHL, the Kings game last night against the Calgary Flames, that was postponed due to the fires. Monday's NFL wildcard game, it might have to be moved from LA, where the Rams are hosting Minnesota. It would be moved to Arizona. Lakers are supposed to play Charlotte tonight in the NBA. That game is up in the air. The biggest game on the court last night featured Hamilton's own SGA.
Gildas Alexander feels a little bump and throws it in.
He's wiry, strong.
You darn right he is, Doris Burke. It was actually the game of the year in the NBA, featuring Shea's OKC Thunder on a 15-game winning streak and second in the NBA in Cleveland against the Cavs, who run a 10-game winning streak and hold the best record in the league with only 4 losses in 35 games. And you can add another win to that. Despite SGA's 31 points for his 21st 30-plus point game of the year, this tightly contested affair with 30 lead changes went to the Cavs, who take a 129-122 to snap the Thunder's streak. Next up for the Cavs, the Toronto Raptors. And I would give the Raps no chance because they've been so awful on the road this season. They've been really no better at home, but they played last night on the road in New York against the Knicks. 2 former Knickerbockers trying their best, and Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett with 22 and 16 points respectively. But it was former Rap OG Anunoby leading the way for the Knicks. He had 27, 112-98 the final. Raps are now 1-16 on the road as they head to the Cleve to face those top-ranked Cavs tonight.
Lardis with speed. He's got Brown out to his left. Lardis on the right side. Lifts it for Brown. Back to Lardis. That was gorgeous.
You betcha, Reed Duffy. Bulldogs' Nick Lardis now leads the OHL in scoring. He notched his 33rd of the season at the Civic Center in Brantford as the Dogs hosted Flint on Wednesday night. Some of the Bulldogs' young guns helped out. Joshua Avery, Aiden O'Donnell. They would also score along with Noah Roberts and Cole Brown. A 5-2 Brantford win. OHL trade deadline, that arrives tomorrow. Be interesting to see what the Dogs get up to.
Cut off by Poulin. Poulin working in. Poulin hands off to Ambrose. And they hit traffic right in front of Rio.
Are you kidding me? PWHL hit the road again in Vancouver to a sold-out crowd. They were treated to that highlight reel goal from one of the best female players ever, Marie-Philippe Poulin, who scored a spectacular goal as her Victoire were looking to extend their lead over the last place Toronto Scepter, somehow falling away from the puck on her knees. Wow. Captain Clutch still able to score to put Montreal up 3-0. Toronto make a game of it, pulling within 1. But Poulin had the crowd at her feet, scoring her second into an empty net for the 4-2 win, and had many in the building dreaming of their own P-Dub team in the future. Blue Jays' future, a little muddy. Today's big day in the baseball world and for the Jays, whose offseason has been horrific. Thursday is the MLB deadline for players to avoid arbitration, which can be messy as teams try to prove that they don't want to, why they don't want to pay their players. Well, Vladdy Jr. will head back to arbitration if they don't come to a long-term deal. All signs pointing to that not happening. As reports say the two sides are far apart on talks. ESPN's Buster Olney says if Vladdy does not have a deal before spring training, which is next month, he's going to hit free agency after the upcoming season.
Oh, I like the sound of spring training getting closer. Oh, that's good news this morning. 6:13 is the time because we need good news as far as spring and the temperatures are concerned, which we will talk about coming up. First of all, it's traffic 403 once again, Waterdown Road. That's our camera. Nothing to see there. It's just normal volume, and generally that's the way it is around the Horseshoe at the moment. Into St. Catharines, QEW Ontario Street looks good. Millen Road, Stony Creek, nothing north of 2 in Burlington. All doing fine. Here's east of Royal Windsor. So Toronto-bound lanes coming towards us on that camera, and the same here at Cooksville Creek. The only problem this morning is where I don't have a camera to show you is on the 400 southbound approaching. It's a complete closure. They've got problems there with the collision. It's around Aurora Road, King Road area, but that's the 400 southbound coming out of Barrie. All right, to our temperature at the moment. And we are shivering once again today. -14 is the temperature. Thankfully, the winds are fairly light, and they are shifting a little bit now, which is good news. They're now west-southwest at 6. Makes it feel like -18. The skies are mainly clear at the moment. So for school today, you're going to dress for a -6 degree high, but still it's going to feel like -10. It'll be sunny. It'll be a cold day, nice clear blue sky. Still a little bit of snow squall activity coming down off of Lake Huron in through the London area. But that's going to come to an end because the winds are going to shift now with that approaching warm front. That's the red line. That's the leading edge of the milder air starting to push in. However, we're also going to get some snow, and that's going to start later in the day tomorrow, continue overnight Friday night into Saturday. Not a lot. What we're looking at, maybe 2 to 4 centimeters is all that we're going to get. Temperatures today, -4 to -6 degrees. So better than yesterday. Yesterday we only got to -8 with a wind chill of -15. So we'll have that sunshine for the day today. So a little bit of cloud in some areas. But tonight, -9, -12 to 11, even -14. Brantford, -15 degrees. Wind chill values once again down around -13 to -15. And then tomorrow, -1 to -4, a little bit milder tomorrow. The cloud cover starts to roll in, and then there's that snow beginning later in the day. So out the door, 9th morning of January. Yeah, it's cold, -14. Wind chill right now sitting about -19 to -20. And we'll look at the long range forecast coming up. Annette, Tim.
Okay, right after the break, we're going to say hello for the first time to Louis Butko. He's got a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat. And we're going to take a closer look in business and the jobs in demand and how AI could impact the job market. 6:17 on your Thursday morning. Good morning to Louis.
Good morning. Well, we know someone was talking about these fires in LA, California. A lot of celebrities have been impacted, homes destroyed. So we'll run through literally the list of celebrities who have lost their homes because of this fire. So scary stuff. Speaking of the fire, that postponed the SAG nominations. That's the Screen Actor Guild. They were announced via press release yesterday, and it was Wicked leading the way with 5 nominations. So we'll get into a little bit more on that. And Jay-Z trying to get his sexual assault trial thrown out, or the charges against him. So lots to get into coming up on Chit Chat.
Okay.
Lots of tough topics to get into.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you at the couch in a little bit, pal.
Okay. Well, the Canadian dollar in business news is up 3 basis points in overseas trading right now, trading at 69.52 cents U.S. Gold has gained almost $10 an ounce, and crude oil is down 18 cents to $73.14 a barrel. Midday trading in Europe, markets are up in London, but down in Frankfurt, up a little bit in Paris.
To Asia we go. Markets are down across the board in Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. Okay, North American markets on Wednesday. Some triple-digit gains, some greens for Bay Street and the Dow Jones on Wall Street. Some slight losses for the NASDAQ. Let's see how they do when markets open a little bit later this morning on this Thursday, January the 9th.
Well, StatsCan's latest data is highlighting Canada's most in-demand jobs. Healthcare and social assistance lead with over 129,000 vacancies right now across the country. That includes openings for doctors, nurses, childcare providers, and social workers. There is also high demand for hotel and food services, retail, and professional fields like law and accounting. Construction, manufacturing, and agriculture are also supporting significant vacancy rates. Still with jobs news, artificial intelligence could pose a threat to many positions. A new survey from the World Economic Forum says 41% of employers will cut human staff in favor of AI automation in the next 5 years. But nearly 80% of big companies around the world also say they will reskill and upscale their workers to work with AI. Among the jobs expected to see the biggest drops in employment, executive assistants, payroll clerks, and postal service clerks.
Let's get to retail now. 2 Canadian women's clothing chains are closing their stores. Comark Holdings owns both Ricky's and Cleo. It's closing all of them as it files for creditor protection. The company is headquartered in Mississauga, has 75 Ricky's stores, 54 Cleo locations. Websites for both chains say effective January the 17th, they will no longer accept returns or gift cards, and customers will not be able to redeem or receive loyalty points.
Okay, taking a quick break right now. Brian's going to be back with your traffic and your 7-day forecast. We'll find out when it's going to warm up a little bit.
6:24 already. Good morning and welcome to this Thursday. We're looking at the QEW in Niagara Street as we check traffic. First of all, we have absolutely nothing happening through the Niagara Peninsula this morning. St. Catharines looks good. Top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge already getting slow. This is just normal buildup of volume. Bronte Road still doing fine. Erin Mills Parkway will even dip into the 403 at Credit View, heading toward the 401, coming towards us, doing okay so far today. So take it carefully, please, as usual. Check the temperatures this morning. You're going to feel that when you head outside. Minus 14 in Hamilton. Yay, we're the cold spot right now in the Horseshoe. That wind chill, actually the winds are dying off a little bit. Minus 18 is the wind chill right now. Minus 12 Mississauga, minus 11 Toronto, minus 9 for Grimsby. Seasonals overnight, minus 9 right now. We're sitting at minus 14, so quite a difference there. Minus 2 for the daytime high. Those are our sun times, records for today. And yeah, we are going to have the sunshine today. So for school, it'll be nice, bright, sunny, but cold. Minus 9. And then coming home after school, still a fair bit of sunshine and minus 6 degrees. So long range forecast today, minus 6, wind chill minus 10. So still a cold day. Minus 12 tonight, wind chill about minus 17 to minus 19 degrees. And then tomorrow, minus 4, minus 9. We'll start off with a bit of sun and then the cloud cover. And then we're going to get some snow tomorrow night into Saturday morning, maybe 2 to 4 centimeters. And then minus 2 Saturday, some flurries. Minus 2 again for Sunday and Monday, more flurries. Finally, a bit of sunshine back, but getting chillier into midweek. That's your forecast. Annette, Tim.
Okay, if you're traveling and you have a passport, you've got a pretty powerful document in your hands because our country's passports are among the top 10 most powerful in the world.
This is actually very fascinating. According to an index that tracks global freedoms in 227 countries and territories, any guess what would be at the top? Singapore at the top. Visa-free access to 195 of those 227 destinations. Japan, second, access to 193. You have EU members, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, tied for third, along with Finland and South Korea. Fourth position, we're not there yet, is held by 7 EU countries. Fifth place, Belgium, New Zealand, Portugal, Switzerland, and the UK. Okay, where do we come in?
We're 7th.
Yeah, access to 188 countries without a visa. And we're beating the U.S. That's really what matters.
Yes.
They're
yeah.
ninth. Okay.
So we need visas for Afghanistan, Iran, North Korea, among others.
Russia, Venezuela. So I guess when I do my COLAT trip, I guess we can't go to North Korea?
There we go.
You're going to Ireland.
You can ask.
Yeah. No? Okay. How many people will come along with that? All right. That's fascinating, though.
Yeah.
I didn't really know that. Okay. Good stuff. It's frickin' freezing out again today if you haven't stepped out the door. We're going to get used to it. It's day number 3 of that. How long is it going to last? Brian has that after this.